Hey, it's Mark again with CleanCreditClub.com, and this is a video that I thought I should do because, as a lot of you know, last week I asked you for your two most important questions, and I got a ton of responses on a number of different topics, but this was one of those topics that prevailed, and so I'm going to provide you with a little information here, but later on this week, I'm going to make something available to all of you that I think you'll be very interested in, and that is understanding this complete mess about collection agencies and how to deal with them and how to get them off your credit report. But since this was a huge topic for so many of you, I wanted to sort of share some stuff with you because I think this is critical. And at some point in our lives, we are all faced with having to deal with a collection agency for one reason or another. Either we had a medical bill, that we were unable to pay, something showed up on our credit and they began trying to collect as a result of it. There's been some cases, believe it or not, where a person has settled a debt for a lesser amount and the balance was then sold off to a collection agency, and the collection agency has actually tried to collect on that, even though you had a binding agreement that whatever creditor would accept, the lesser amount as payment in full. So we're seeing all kinds of things that are happening out there. Even through identity theft, people are ending up with having to deal with collection agencies, and I myself have personally had to deal with them, some through fault of my own, and but in a lot of cases through medical identity theft, and you'd be quite surprised to know that that is on the rise more than anything. So don't just assume that just because you have had multiple visits to see doctors, that when some collection agency calls and they're trying to collect, or you have a medical bill that they're trying to collect on, that it's a legitimate bill that belongs to you. You need to investigate that. And I'm going to talk about that again in detail when we talk about medical bills, because there is a complete strategy with dealing with them to make sure that one, it is yours, and two, that you're not being overcharged, by these medical facilities for services that you'd never received. But these collection agencies, believe it or not, they're becoming a lot more aggressive. They're springing up like no other. I just read an article just yesterday about two very young guys in their 20s buying debt portfolios and hiring 4 or 5 people to collect on these debts. And we're talking about people with very little experience learning how to collect on these debts, and they're becoming a lot more aggressive because of their lack of experience and their ignorance. And the more experienced collection agencies are doing some things that you simply wouldn't believe, and they've gotten super aggressive to the tune that they're calling neighbors, and they're telling neighbors that you owe this debt. They're calling employers and telling your employers, like your office managers, your middle managers, that they are a debt collection agency trying to collect on the debt and they need to speak with you immediately. They're even calling owners of companies, and this was something I saw on a 60 Minutes special, where they're calling owners of companies and telling them about your debt. And in some cases, one collection agent actually said that he had called the owner of the company at home and told of the employee's debt. So they're doing some pretty outrageous things, and if you don't know what to do to protect yourself, then these people will run all over you. So before I sort of dive into the meat of this whole thing, what I want to do is I want to encourage you that if you know anybody who is going through this, if you know anybody who is having to deal with collection agencies, that you fill out the box to your right, okay, and send them the email and let them know that it's critically important that they go check this stuff out. All right, they watch these videos because these videos are for the consumer, and they're going to help you. Trust me. There's some other things that these collection agencies are doing as well. And I just mentioned some of the illegal tactics that they're doing. But another thing that they're doing is they're trying to threaten people with jail. They're trying to threaten that they're going to have a warrant issued for your arrest. And they simply can't do that, okay? This is a civil matter. This is not a criminal matter. Even if a lawyer becomes involved, he cannot in any shape, way, or form turn this into a criminal matter. He simply can't do that. So if people try to threaten you with jail, if they try to threaten to have you arrested, they can't do those things. Okay, so credit collection agencies are not people to fear. There are people that you need to stand up to and let them know what your rights are. And again, later on this week, I'm going to give you an opportunity to learn how to deal with them, to stand up to them, and to use tactics that are like kryptonite to them that'll simply just bring them to their feet. All right, so the next thing I wanted to share with you were that there's three ways that you can first stop these collection agencies from harassing you. There's three ways. One is through the phone calls. Second is you can tell them not to call you and not to correspond with you. And then another letter that you can send them is to tell them, don't contact me in any shape, way, or form. Okay, and I want to cover the three methods that you can use. And the first one is how to tell them not to call you by the phone anymore. Okay, and just simply say in your letter, I dispute account number, whatever your account number is, cease and desist. Okay, and I misspelled desist, but cease and desist all telephone communication. However, I'd be happy to correspond with you by mail. Now, the reason why you want to use this tactic is if you're dealing with an attorney, a real-life attorney who's trying to collect. And if that's the case, then attorneys are a lot quicker to want to sue you in order to collect money. So you want to be able to communicate with them by mail and not totally just turn them off. Okay, but if it's Joe Blow collection agency, then this next tactic is something that you're going to want to use, and that is just simply to dispute account number, whatever. Okay, and this is not my account. Cease and desist all communications with me. And again, if you simply believe that this is not yours, then tell them to blow off. Okay, tell them cease and desist all communications with me, and by law they must honor that. Now, this third one is a lot more powerful, and it simply reads, I dispute account number, whatever, and give the factual reason why you're disputing it, okay? And if you have no business with this, no business relationship with the company that they claim they represent or the company themselves, then tell them. If it's not your account, tell them. If it's not your account because it's fraudulent, tell them, okay? If you've already paid the creditor, tell them that too. And then finally, tell them, cease and desist all collection activity, including any negative reporting to credit bureaus. Okay, so be upfront with them, tell them that. And again, I have a personal letter that I like to use, which sort of spells this out, and it tells them just that. Now, one of the things that you also need to keep in mind, that while you tell them not to contact you anymore, they must abide by that. But the law does allow them to notify you if they intend to cease collection activity or if they intend to sue you. Okay, they have the right to recontact you and to tell you that, and that's fine. But again, it's a way to stand up to them. It's a way to now stop those harassing phone calls, to give you some time to deal with them. And again, we all know someone who was faced with dealing with a collection agency, and if you do, be it a family, a friend, please forward this email to them and let them know that this is something that they are going to want to check out because it's valuable information. Again, it's Mark, and thanks for visiting CleanCreditClub.com.